It is official that the pound-for-pound king, Terence "Bud" Crawford, has agreed in principle to face off against the 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, Saul Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez has agreed. Terence Crawford, we knew he was going to agree. And they're working out the details to showcase their talents. Riyadh season, Cinco de Mayo weekend in May.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight.
Hell of a fight.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight. It's really, really hard for me to see Canelo losing to Crawford. But it's also, there's things that I can see that Crawford is so good at.
Yeah.
That it's like, I can't see him not being able to be sharp and do that round after round, man.
Canelo versus Crawford is a clash of skill and strength, but can Crawford defy the odds in a higher weight class? Let's see what the pros have to say. Berlanga believes Crawford's legendary skills could defy the odds against Canelo, but can the weight difference prove to be too much for the welterweight champion?
You know, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said,
Andre Rozier, renowned boxing trainer, has shared his thoughts on the possibility of Terence Crawford stepping up to fight Canelo Alvarez while Crawford is coming off a win at welterweight. Rozier believes taking on Canelo at a higher weight class could be a bridge too far.
The only thing he could possibly do at this point to regain that status is to beat someone of note in another weight class. And
Rozier acknowledges that Crawford moving to 154 pounds might be a realistic step, but he firmly doubts the success of a jump to face Canelo, labeling it a dangerous leap.
54 is going to be enough for him. Him going up to fighting, quote unquote, if it should happen, Canelo, I don't see that ending well. It's just too much and too far to go. But that's what it.
Rozier's warning highlights the monumental challenge Crawford would face in taking on the pound-for-pound star at such a significant weight disadvantage. What do you think? Is Crawford biting off more than he can chew, or could he shock the world once? Again, Canelo Alvarez reveals his thoughts on a potential fight with Terence Crawford, fueling excitement among boxing fans worldwide.
And yes, it is official that the pound-for-pound king, 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, and reigning WBA junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer, Terence "Bud" Crawford, future first ballot Hall of Famer, undefeated, 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout, 37 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, has agreed in principle. We knew he was going to agree to face off against the 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, former undisputed super middleweight world champion, and reigning unified super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo
Alvarez has, in a way, confirmed his willingness to face Terence Crawford, creating buzz around what could be one of the most anticipated fights in boxing today. This potential showdown would feature two elite fighters at the pinnacle of their careers. Terence Crawford.
Terence Crawford, his name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if it's a fight
between Canelo and Crawford promises to be monumental. Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion, has dominated his division with power and precision. Crawford, widely regarded as one of the most skilled fighters of this era, brings a combination of technical brilliance and intelligent strategy that has propelled him to the top of the pound-for-pound rankings. Terence.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but
CaneloAlvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, hasn't shied away from the possibility of facing Terence Crawford in the ring, while Crawford's leap into a higher weight class has sparked debates. Canelo remains confident in his ability to dominate the smaller fighter, speaking on Sway's Universe. Canelo made it clear that he's not only open to the challenge, but views it as an opportunity to make a bold statement.
That he would be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford.
Fine.
Yeah.
If he's willing to pay whatever I want, hands down.
That'll work. So if yeah, you're in. So if the numbers were right with Crawford, you'll do it.
Why not? Why not? I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So
Canelo's remarks reflect his belief that the weight disparity gives him a significant edge over Crawford, with a history of dismantling elite opponents at super middleweight. Canelo seems to view the potential clash as more of a financial opportunity than a risky challenge. However, for fans and analysts, Crawford's skills and determination could make this fight more unpredictable than Canelo anticipates. While CaneloAlvarez has shown interest in a potential showdown with Terence Crawford, he also offered a deeper insight into his thoughts on the matchup. Canelo didn't hesitate to address Crawford's fighting style, pointing out the challenges of facing a highly mobile opponent. Despite his reservations, the undisputed champion revealed that the fight could happen under the right circumstances, specifically if the financial stakes are high enough.
money is right, I'm in, because I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great. I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So if the money is.
Canelo's comments highlight the complexities of making this fight a reality. While he acknowledges Crawford's talent, he remains confident in the natural advantages provided by his weight class. At the same time, his remarks about money and stylistic preferences suggest that for Canelo, the matchup is more about the spectacle and payday than the competitive allure. This adds another layer to the growing debate. Can Crawford's skill overcome the weight disparity, or is Canelo right to lean on the limits of weight classes? This statement marks a notable shift for Canelo, who had previously expressed reluctance to face Crawford, citing the lack of credit he would receive for defeating a smaller opponent.
Everybody calling me out and everything, and like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 ways class.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect him, but sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit to face Crawford, but you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not? It's possible.
And I can't go down anymore. But like he say, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, and then,
Meanwhile, Crawford has shown persistence in pursuing the matchup, willing to move up 2 weight classes to prove his dominance.
And then you guys fight. That fight would be gigantic.
And it's crazy because, in the past interviews, I was like, man, Canelo too big, man. It's weight classes for a reason. I was like, nah. But in my mind, in my heart, I don't think nobody too big, especially in a fight. I'm a fighter. But, I was thinking, man, it could happen. So you start really sitting down man, that fight...
Crawford is fully aware of the physical disadvantage he would face against Canelo, acknowledging that size will play a crucial role in the fight. However, he remains confident in his ability to overcome this challenge and impose his boxing style.
He bigger than me, but I'm faster. You know, so then you start doing the advantages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, man, we right there.
Yeah.
We right there, you know what I mean? So I was like, man.
And it's not like he didn't go up in weight as
well.
Keith Thurman, a former world champion and keen analyst of the sport, recently broke down why Terence Crawford might see vulnerabilities in CaneloAlvarez, drawing from Canelo's performance against João. Charlo Thurman highlighted specific moments in the fight that could fuel Crawford's belief in his chances. Thurman's detailed observations suggest that Crawford's strategic mind may be identifying patterns that others overlook.
When Canelo fought Charlo, besides the knockdown, Charlo was able to protect himself very well against Canelo's onslaught. The only problem was, while protecting himself, there was no offense.
Thurman emphasized how Charlo's defensive adjustments minimized damage after the knockdown, but also highlighted a lack of counterattacks, which allowed Canelo to dominate. He suggested that Crawford, known for his adaptability and offensive creativity, likely sees an opportunity to exploit these moments by blending strong defense with calm aggression.
Crawford is trash. Don't ever compare Crawford to Canelo again. Shout out young Triple G. He did his. I felt he won. At least a draw. The judges. You weirdos. You guys suck ass. And Crawford, you're not pound for pound. Suck a. You never fought nobody good. You fought Spence that had a car accident. You.
Thurman's insight paints a picture of Crawford studying Canelo's recent fights to identify exploitable gaps in his offense, while Charlo leaned heavily on defense to survive. Crawford may aim to combine similar tactics with his boxing IQ to not only neutralize Canelo's power but also create scoring opportunities. However, Thurman's remarks also underscore the risks. One mistake against Canelo can turn the tide instantly. Crawford is trash, don't ever compare.
Catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And I'm wondering whether he could stay away. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, he can't keep him off him. And that's where the problem lies.
What do you think a win like that would do for Crawford? Would that put him
I think it was
Robinson, Mayweather?
He and I spoke about it. He and I spoke about it in Vegas when.
Renowned sports analyst Stephen A. Smith recently shared his take on the potential mega fight between CaneloAlvarez and Terence Crawford, known for his candid opinions. Smith dissected the clash, weighing Crawford's superior boxing skills against Canelo's power and physicality, while he acknowledged both fighters' greatness. Smith highlighted the key factors that could determine the outcome.
Canelo is a very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot. But to me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. And if Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And
Smith's analysis points to the critical balance between skill and strength. He believes Crawford's technical ability could trouble Canelo, but without the power to back it up, the relentless Mexican champion might overwhelm him. Smith expanded further, breaking down Canelo's approach to fights and the risks Crawford would face if caught by one of his shots.
I mean, Terence Crawford, yes, there is weight classes for a reason. Canelo is a lot bigger. Crawford has that, he also has a good size to him where he has that good size and he has that reach and he has that boxing IQ. That's the most important thing when it comes to a boxing game is the IQ. You know, I think Crawford will hold his own very good in that fight. But I will lean a little bit more towards Canelo given the fact that he's more experienced and he's been in there with bigger guys.
Smith's prediction underscores the high stakes of this potential fight on one hand. Crawford's technical mastery could expose Canelo's reliance on power shots. On the other, Canelo's physicality and knockout potential could neutralize Crawford's boxing finesse as fans and analysts debate the matchup. Smith's comments highlight the razor-thin margins that would define this historic battle regardless of these concerns. The potential bout between Canelo and Crawford has captivated the imagination of boxing fans. The blend of power, speed, technique, and charisma from both fighters sets the stage for what could be an unforgettable spectacle. Alexis Rocha, a welterweight contender who has shared the ring with both CaneloAlvarez and Terence Crawford during sparring sessions, offered a unique perspective on their potential clash, having experienced their skill sets firsthand. Rocha weighed in on the matchup, acknowledging the physical differences while highlighting both fighters' strengths.
Are you serious about fighting Canelo Alvarez?
Of course.
I know you're serious, but I've got to ask you for the people that are watching.
Of course
Are
I'm
you
serious.
confident that that fight is a fight that you can win?
Well, I'm always confident that I can win any fight that I step foot in the ring. You know, Canelo is a big, strong competitor. He's a great fighter. He's a future Hall of Famer. And that's what we in the game for, is to leave a legacy that will last, surpass.
Rowe's analysis aligns with the common narrative surrounding this fight. Canelo's size and power could present insurmountable challenges for Crawford despite his superior boxing IQ and adaptability for Rocha. The combination of Canelo's physicality and experience gives him the edge. His insights add another layer to the ongoing debate. Will Crawford's skill be enough to defy the laws of boxing's weight classes? Saul Canelo Alvarez has not yet made a decision on who will be his opponent for his next fight in 2025, however, it's looking increasingly likely that Terence Crawford will be his next opponent in the ring. Crawford has openly admitted that he wants to fight Canelo and directly challenge the Mexican, although he is still waiting for an answer.
Say like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
now media such as FTV Boxing claim that Crawford's name is one of those on Canelo's list as a possible opponent, but he would be the best option to return to the ring in May, although the date of the fight at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas has not yet been confirmed. Sean Porter, a former welterweight champion who shared the ring with Terence Crawford, has voiced his concern about Crawford stepping up to face Canelo Alvarez, having experienced Crawford's skill firsthand. Porter appreciates his boxing abilities but fears that the size and power disparity could pose a serious risk to Crawford in this potential matchup.
I don't know if we'll get Terence Crawford. I think Crawford is looking at, you know, just a huge fight with Canelo, and if he doesn't get it, he might not even fight anymore, you know, because he's told me that before. But there's so many other fights out there too, you know. We'll just take it fight by fight with Virgil.
Televisa announced that the fight between Canelo and Crawford could change dates because June would be the ideal month to hold the contest, even though nothing has been officially confirmed. It is well known that for reasons relating to pay-per-event, May is usually the month chosen for the Mexican's functions in the United States. As mentioned, Crawford is not the only option for the Mexican in his next defense of the Unified Super Middleweight Championship, since Christian M. Billy is the main option as he is the WBC's #1 contender in the 168-pound ranking. However, the Gold and Green organization has not named him as a mandatory challenger.
I know with the Benavides question, you get asked this all the time. I almost hate asking you, but you know, if someone's willing to put up the $250 million,
I mean,
would you negotiate down?
No less than 200.
No less than 200.
Porter's warning reflects the physical challenge Crawford would face against a fighter like Canelo, who has demonstrated devastating power at higher weight classes, while Crawford's technical skills and adaptability are unquestioned. Porter's concerns highlight the inherent danger of moving up to face a much larger opponent. This adds to the growing debate: does Crawford's skill set outweigh the risks, or is he stepping into a scenario where the odds are stacked too heavily against him? There is another important fact to mention. Train Robert Garcia has hinted at the matchup, and reports claim that Crawford is on Canelo's shortlist for their Cinco de Mayo fight, while nothing is official. Rumors suggest that Turkey Alec could take the fight to Las Vegas. Talks of a May 2025 showdown between CaneloAlvarez and Terence Crawford are making waves. Trainer Robert Garcia hinted at the matchup and reported that Crawford was on Canelo's short list for his Cinco de Mayo day.
Other than Crawford, what will make sense? Like, there's a couple of names out there.
Benavides, but we know that's not going to...
Telesa announced that the fight between Canelo and Crawford could change dates because June would be the ideal month to hold the contest. Even though nothing has been officially confirmed, it is well known that for reasons relating to pay-per event, May is usually the month chosen for the Mexican functions in the United States, as mentioned. Crawford is not the only option for the Mexicans in his next defense of the unified super middleweight championship, since Christian M. Billy is the main option, as he is the WBC's #1 contender in the 168 pounds ranking. However, the Golden Green organization has not named him as a mandatory challenger. On the other hand, if they offer him $200 million, he would fight David Benavides. And finally, Dmitry Bivol is still on the list for a possible rematch, although the boxer himself has mentioned that he opens the door to Canelo for the moment. It is not his priority because he has other objectives in mind. There are few legitimate fighters out there for Canelo to choose from outside of Benavides and Crawford, but a Canelo versus Crawford bout, particularly if it was held in the US, could potentially break the mythical 1 million pay-per-view sales barrier of Crawford's PPV events. His thumping victory over Spence was by far his most successful, as it sold to 700,000 homes in the US alone. Canelo, meanwhile, has fought 16 times on pay-per-view, selling to a combined 11.6 million homes for almost $1 billion in revenue. Turkey Alec could sponsor the fight to take place in Las Vegas. Nothing is official at all yet, still money talks loudly, and we all know the kind of unputdownable amounts of money the Saudi billionaire, or is it zillionaire, offers to fighters to ensure they fight the fights he wants to see, and Alex still wants to see Canelo versus Crawford. It would be a fascinating fight, a real battle of modern-day greats. Crawford 41031, and already a 4-weight king, would be giving up a heck of a lot of weight if he fought Canelo at 168 pounds. This the weight Bud has said in the recent past he would fight Canelo at. However, Canelo might have slowed a little at age 34-35 in July, perhaps enough for Crawford to outslick him and win a decision that said Crawford is the older man at age 37. And though he hasn't shown any signs of slowing down, it could conceivably come at any time, and it would be the wrong place and the wrong fight for this to happen. Should it happen in May, who could it be if it's not Crawford for Canelo in May? But if it is Canelo versus Crawford on May 3rd in a fight that could be dubbed daring to be great, the whole world will be watching. You can count on that, as both fighters are the biggest showdown in boxing. The question remains, will Crawford's technical brilliance be enough to overcome Canelo's power? Or is the size difference just too much to overcome? Share your thoughts in the comments.